Hello everybody and welcome to Formula 1 2018 Career Mode. I said this was coming and we will be racing for Ferrari. I decided let's do like a one-season career mode leading into F1 2019, and I wanted to do it with my favorite team. And I tried doing a 2018 career mode a while back, but it just didn't feel like the right time because I came in so late trying to do it compared to when the game came out. But I decided let's at least do one season with my favorite team leading into the 2019 F1 game. So we come straight to qualifying in the Ferrari team. Obviously, we are the second driver up behind Sebastian Vettel, who is my favorite driver in Formula 1. And we made it to Q3, obviously, as expected here in Australia as we're coming through this first sector, setting a pretty decent pace through here. I didn't expect to come in here out of here with a pole. Australia is a track that I don't usually qualify the greatest at as we came through the little chicane here, actually getting through it pretty well in this third qualifying session as Lewis Hamilton was currently on the pole, but we would come through to cross the line and go P3 behind Sebastian Vettel in second with a 120.647. So not the best lap in the world, but certainly a good enough lap to get us P3. I only have the AI on, I think, 108, so it's a little bit low, but hopefully we can work our way to the front here at the end of this Grand Prix, as Lewis Hamilton will be starting on the pole for the Australian Grand Prix with Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, second, and myself in third, and Bottas there in fourth.
Who are Hamilton, Vettel, and the Rainmaster.
There's your top three from Crofty. Now let's go to the race.
New drivers, new cars, and a new Formula 1 season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that hosts the first round of a 21-race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park Circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with the addition of new safety features, the return of France and Germany in an expanded 21-race calendar, and more tyre compounds than ever before. And of course, we have some big car manufacturers back in the sport too, with Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin returning as title sponsors for Sauber and Red Bull respectively. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2018 Formula 1 season is Anthony Davidson. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here. I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 4th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season, it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the relative performance of McLaren and Toro Rosso, who have exchanged power unit suppliers this year. And given the additional restrictions on engine components, they need to be strong in terms of both performance and reliability.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have the Rainmaster, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen, Sainz, Grosjean, Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg, Ocon, Perez, Fernando Alonso and Leclerc, Hartley, Ericsson, Stoffel Van Dorn and Pierre Gasly. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
All right, we are ready to get going here in Australia. Some kind words from Jeff here.
Good position for the rest of the race.
Thank you, Jeff. And now we're ready to go green. There's our strategy, ultra softs to softs here on a one-stop strategy here in Australia. As we're ready to go green, Lewis Hamilton will lead the way over Sebastian Vettel as we get ready to go green. It's lights out and away we go. Hamilton leads the way, but it gets a poor start compared to Vettel, who has a brilliant start. And he will come up the right side of Hamilton, and he is going to go into turns 1 and take the lead from Lewis Hamilton early on as they battle side by side, as we just kind of sit behind and let this battle go out now as we come through this first sector. Sebastian Vettel will lead the way, going going into the right-hander. Hamilton falls in behind as we sit P3 behind them two, or behind the two of them, as we lead in third place, just over fourth place of Valtteri Bottas now as we come through the kink there, just trying to stick with these two. Certainly Vettel and Hamilton seem to be the two fastest cars all weekend at this point as we overshoot right there and just about go wide into the grass. So certainly making a little bit of a mistake early on in this event here in the Australian Grand Prix as we try to just have the best first lap possible, really, as we try to pull away from the other Mercedes driver of Valtteri Bottas, as it's Ferrari, Mercedes right now on this first lap here in Australia, as Lewis Hamilton looked like he was going to be in command, but a poor start has put him behind early on here in Australia as he tries to stick with our teammate Sebastian Vettel, and early on it's looking like I could tell that we probably don't quite have the pace to stick with Hamilton and Vettel, as we had a bit of oversteer there on the exit of the corner as we're in this final sector now through the final few corners. Hamilton trying to stick with Vettel, but it looks like Sebastian is actually pulling away from him early on here on this first lap, as Hamilton's doing the same to me. He's pulling away, obviously, and by the time we came to lap 3, we would have our first retirement of the race as Kevin Magnussen would pull over to the right-hand side of the track in the Haas F1 team race car now, as he would be out of the race, and obviously not good for him. First retirement of the season on just lap 3, and at this point Sebastian Vettel had pulled away quite a bit, multiple seconds over second place of Lewis Hamilton. And as we come to a little bit later on this third lap, Valtteri Bottas has certainly found the pace to start running me down now, as he's certainly getting close. And you see I do have the driving line on. I don't really need the driving line, but it's just more to keep me focused now as we come through the final corner, coming to lap 5 at this point, and Valtteri Bottas continuing to at least stick with me as we were getting DRS from Lewis Hamilton up ahead. We're doing a decent job at this point sticking with him, as our teammate Sebastian Vettel, he is out of here, and without a safety car, he is very well in command at this point, unless Mercedes can pull an undercut or something on him here as we come through the first sector on this 6th lap. And Lewis Hamilton would start to build back up the gap and start pulling away from me, and by the time we came to lap 7, it was Valtteri Bottas' chance to make a pass on me, as he had the DRS and I didn't. We made a defensive move and then gave him the right hand side as he sticks it up the inside through turns 1 as we battle side by side. He clears me, but he takes up, and we get ahead of Bottas now as we go down the straightaway. Bottas has built up another run, and he's going to make a move up the right hand side into the corner, and we would give him the position, as I did not want to keep up this fight because I knew he had the pace to drive away. So we gave him the spot for now, and we would fall in behind him, and as soon as he got past me, you can see just how fast he was already pulling away. Up to 4/10 ahead now he goes, and we would sit in this 4th position, looking like at this point we might not get a podium, but by the time we came to the end of this lap 7, he would come through to make his first pit stop, Bottas would, so we would overtake him and take the 3rd position back momentarily, but he will definitely be able to get back out in front of me, and by the time we came to the end of lap 9, we would come through to make our first pit stop of the day as we head into the pit lane now. We're going on to the soft tire. We're just doing a 1 stop now as we come into the pit lane now, seeing our team here, Ferrari, as Lewis Hamilton comes through. He made his pit stop, he took the soft tire, he would pull up well in front of me, and then we would be off, and away we go now as we come down the pit lane road, just a little bit behind Hamilton. 2.7 second pit stop for myself, and Valtteri Bottas would come through, and he would be ready to pass me, and he would get past now as we go into the track, or re-enter the track, as we head down towards turns 1. Charles Leclerc is up on my left-hand side as we're trying to make sure we can at least stay ahead of him, as we don't want to lose too much time as we get loose there, and we were going to battle side by side as we get into the grass with Leclerc on my left-hand side. As we head down into the corner, we're going to make a move up his inside, trying to desperately get the position as we go a little bit wide, pushing wide there, but fortunately we keep off of Leclerc and get back up to the 8th position now on this 10th lap, and Bottas actually would be on the super soft tire, and he would be in for a 2nd pit stop in this race. So a very interesting strategy call from the Mercedes team. You would think Ferrari's controlling the strategy over there or something if they're going to put Bottas on that type of strategy, but certainly that's going to give me the upper hand, as certainly Bottas is faster than me right now, but we are going to be able to run him down on the longer run, and he has to pit again. So a very interesting call as our teammate Sebastian Sebastian Vettel would come in to the pit lane and make his pit stop from the lead, as he has been dominating the start of this race after he got the jump on Lewis Hamilton early on, as Bottas was ahead of Lewis Hamilton at this point too in that second position here on lap 14, but Hamilton was running him down. He was actually right on his back gearbox at this point as we came through the second sector, now trying to gain on Bottas, and by the time it came to lap 18, we had gained on Bottas, who had gotten passed by his teammate of Lewis Hamilton, and we were closing in on him now as he's on his worn super soft tires. And at this point, it was for sure looking like we might be in position to get a podium here in our first race with Ferrari. And by the time we came to the end of lap 18, still just trying to reel in Valtteri Bottas, but now he is going to come through to make his second pit stop and hopefully his final pit stop for him. Now, as we would come through to take over the third position here for the final podium spot, as a very interesting call from Team Mercedes with Bottas has put him behind now as he sits P4, and he would drop even further back after the pit stop. He would be behind Carlos Sainz, who got up to the fourth position in the Renault car. So a brilliant day for Carlos Sainz at this point, as we just had about 7 laps to go at this point, as our teammate Sebastian Vettel continued to lead. And at this point I was just on an island of my own, no one around me, no one even close to being in front of me. I think Lewis Hamilton was several seconds up ahead and Carlos Sainz is several seconds behind, so we were just kind of setting our own pace and making sure we got these tires to the end at this point, as there was just nothing to really fight for, as Lewis Hamilton's just up over into the chicane right now as we're just starting to approach it now. So 17 seconds ahead of Carlos Sainz, so there was nothing to be concerned about at this point. I was just pretty much managing the tires and managing the car in ERS and whatnot at this point. Now as we came to lap 26 with just 4 to go, approaching 3 to go, 19 seconds now ahead of Valtteri Bottas, who did get past Carlos Sainz, so he would move back into the 4th position, but he should have been on the podium if Mercedes didn't screw up the strategy, which puts me on the podium now, so I can't complain too much as we hit just 3 to go at this point, about 7 seconds at this point behind Lewis Hamilton. And the Mercedes, as our teammate Sebastian Vettel is in command here in the final laps now, as we would come through to start the 28th lap here as we exit the corner, the final corner on lap 27, with just 2 laps to go now in Australia. There you see our left rear tires the most worn at this point at 51%, and we would come through to start the final lap now in the same position, obviously just managing to the car for this final lap, as Sebastian Vettel looks like he is ready to win the Australian Grand Prix. And we've put up a brilliant effort so far in this race. Not the best effort. We've had a few mistakes here and there, but it's worked out here to put me on a podium position as we head down towards the second sector now here in Australia. For the final time, Lewis Hamilton 8 seconds ahead at this point, as we're currently on pace to set our fastest lap of the Australian Grand Prix. As at this point, I had it on hot lap on ERS and on Rich in the field, trying to set my fastest lap of the race now, as we get a little bit of oversteer there, just about getting into the wall actually, but fortunately we hang on to it, and I noticed that really we weren't going to be able to hang on with the ERS, so I just turned it down and just managed the car till the end of this final lap now, as we come through the chicane for the final time, getting through there cleanly without making any silly mistakes, as Sebastian Vettel will come through to win the Australian Grand Prix, and his first win obviously on the season, and a great start for Ferrari as we would come through into the final corners now after Vettel getting his victory. The second Ferrari driver will come through the final corner. Lewis Hamilton did get P2, and we're going to come through in our first race with the Ferrari to finish in the 3rd position for the final spot on the podium. A decent finish, and I'm certainly very happy with that one. And so is Jeff apparently, but yeah, great race overall. The last quarter of the race was pretty lackluster. That's why obviously you didn't see very much now as we get ready to celebrate on the podium.
Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
Alright, there we were with our podium celebration. Very fun to celebrate on the podium with our first race with Ferrari there as Sebastian Vettel. Obviously, with the victory, Lewis Hamilton second, and we round out the podium. Valtteri Bottas fourth, Max Verstappen fifth, the best finishing Red Bull car, and Kevin Magnussen, the only DNF, down there in 20th, as Lance Stroll gets the driver of the day, apparently. So surprising there. But great day, like I said, overall. There you see the constructor standings. We also lead the constructors by 10 points over Mercedes. So hopefully we can keep up this momentum into the next episodes here. Obviously, next episode we go to Bahrain, a track that I somewhat struggle at, so we'll see what we can do there. But if you guys enjoyed this episode and want to see more F1 content, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those will all be very, very appreciated. And like I said, in the next episode, we will be going to Bahrain, so we'll see what we can do there. Second episode will be at least a couple days out. We're not going to be doing this daily. Obviously, we're just trying to do one season before F1 2019 comes out. So I will see you guys in the next episode for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Thank you for watching this episode, everybody, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have yourselves a great day.